Hello and welcome to NES Classics. In this installment, it's one of my favorite games for the NES. This is Air Fortress, which is a weird name for a game by any means. This game was originally released by HAL in 1987 and released for the NES in 1989. The game has a completely English storyline. The inhabitants of the planet Farmel have lived in peace since the establishment of the Stardate calendar. They have traveled all around the galaxy with a new style spacecraft called the lightship. One day, when the peace was disturbed by a mysterious big fortress, it was living and destroying all civilizations. Like, what? So they're gonna send this guy in this special suit to save this planet called Farmel. Like, the storyline makes no sense at all. But, you know, it's an NES plot, so gotta love NES plots. Alright, so let's play some of this. So what is Air Fortress, you might be wondering? Well, Air Fortress is kind of a shooter, but it starts out like very typical like space shooter stuff, but as it goes on, this game is actually really quite unique. So if you first play it, you might be thinking, this is just, a typical shooter, whatever. Why don't I play like R-Type or something better than this? But as it goes on, you'll quickly see that it's much more than simply what you first see as soon as you boot it up. While I don't think it's anything particularly amazing, I really do like the music in this game. During the flying sequences, you want to be picking up the E symbols as they give you more maximum energy. In fact, they give you 100 units of maximum energy, which will come in handy as you progress through the game. One thing that's really quite nice about this game is the music is quite memorable. This is stuff that you'll listen to and you'll be like humming after you play. And considering how many NES games there are, and how many chiptunes there are for the system, memorable music is really quite few and far between, especially in third-party games. So as soon as you land, you depart your little thing that you had, and it turns out that you were just a dude in this little like tiny spacecraft. It wasn't this giant ship at all. So here is the actual, other part of the game. This part is really quite unique. You can float up with this jetpack by simply pressing up on the D-pad, and you'll notice that it depletes your energy gauge. When you land, your energy gets restored. If you move, your energy gets depleted. So basically, by doing anything but standing still, you use energy. If you get hit, of course, that reduces your maximum energy you have. And also, shooting shoots you in the opposite direction. It's a really cool gameplay mechanic, and I think that Air Fortress is, one of the most unique games for the NES that's really worth playing. The storyline is, of course, nonsense, but who cares? Pressing the A button shoots your small little blaster, and pressing the B button unleashes bombs. You only have a limited number of bombs, and you get them by finding them in the flying section. Sometimes enemies will drop bombs or power-ups, so you can pick those up, when you have the opportunity. As most NES games are, as Air Fortress goes on, it gets much more difficult as you progress. The difficulty curve is, pretty light to begin with, to give you get you eased into the game. But the later Air Fortresses are absolutely massive. It sort of reminds me of Metroid in a way. So your goal is to, of course, find these things, which are like the cores of the Air Fortresses, and blow them up. Once the core is destroyed, you have to escape. For the first Air Fortress, it's really easy because your escape vehicle thing is just, right there immediately. But in later games, you'll have to do a whole escape sequence where you have to, retrace your steps and go back to the way you just came. The game does have a password save, so as you progress, you can, jot down passwords, and so therefore you don't have to play the game all in one sitting. And, even to this day, I think that this is, how the best ideal situation for this kind of game. Because no save would be, really awful, and this game doesn't need a battery save either. It's just like the password is a perfect answer for saving this type of game. Darn. If you have a turbo controller, this game, does benefit from that because, of course, you can rapid fire your shot out, but even as is, your shots do come out, quite rapidly. Considering also that you can feather both the A and B buttons together and sort of like press one and then the other and then press the one and the other, because they're both shoot during the flying sections of the game. Air Fortress is not a particularly expensive or rare game, so if you're looking for to add, a unique title to your collection, look no further than Air Fortress. Thank you, Captain Obvious. I'd like HAL to, do an HD version of this or do some sort of update for Air Fortress because I think this is one of the best games, in their past library. You can also shoot in the opposite direction, to inch yourself forward more quickly. Can't land on the spikes, of course, because that would kill you. Game's pretty unique. Anyway, that'll basically do it for this video, so thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, let me know, and let me know what NES games you want me to cover in the future. So